will help you.
Good
That
afternoon,
being said, as
everyone.
stated, we are vetting every call that we receive.
Good
We've had to turn
afternoon.
away some. For
We
each, we ask for corroboration. For each,
are
we ask for the
joining the
identity
press
of witnesses.
conference regarding
We also have
John
collected
P. Diddy
pictures,
Combs,
videos,
attorney Buzbee,
texts.
Tony Buzbee of Texas.
We check
The Texas law
venues,
firm
we check
is
dates.
currently
We
conducting
want to corroborate that the claims being
press
made
conference
have
regarding
legitimacy
over
and merit.
100 victims
We have on
that he
staff
is
now
representing
a
in the
former
class
detective
action suit.
from
Let's
the
listen.
helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females
Wow.
who have joined us to pursue these claims.
Good afternoon, everyone.
In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old.
Oh my gosh.
We have an individual who was 14 years old.
Oh my
We have
Lord.
one who was 15.
Jesus.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although the victims who have stepped victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward. I remind you that many states in the United States have recognized it's very difficult for them to step forward and to make these types of allegations. Very terrible has happened to them. New York, the state of New York as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes
Yes,
in
Texas.
place that would typically be able to be brought, that were such and they brought in 25 years later.
Oh, for us now. What the heck? No, sir.
The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listening to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs, drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Lord have mercy.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most of those to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told,
Say it.
are names that will shock you.
Tell it.
These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it.
This attorney is representing over 120 victims of Diddy. He's the one that put together the class action suit.
Foul play.
He's sharing with us the
Willing
details.
participants in vile conduct.
He's supposed to name names.
As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies.
Thank you, Cross Country
hotels.
Cruiser, baby. Thank
We
you.
know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous, You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their text and data. Now, although these are in fact individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently
Damn.
Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators
Rest in
perform all
peace, John
kinds of
Amos.
sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul, the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward, instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlog untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled.
Yep, they are. They're over there now.
The foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable,
Mhm.
such as children, their employees,
Mhm.
and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like,
Mm.
are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables
I want the
abusers
names,
to
ma'am.
continue
I need the
abusing
names.
them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time,
Hit the like button,
your
y'all,
courage
please.
is
Thank
like
you.
nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline. I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of Baby Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days, it's really unprecedented in my career at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what has happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, it's unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? We know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years.
Yes,
to
Texas
speak up.
Toy, you should know that. You're Texas.
The reasons for this have
Yes,
been
it's out of
mentioned, but
Houston.
include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated and where justice is not the exception, but the standard. Thank you.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet. And these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party.
Mm.
Now, let that sink in for a minute.
Mm.
I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual, minor, was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her. Another individual, 26 at the time of the occurrence, was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore.
Oh, Jesus.
And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I'm going to give you a quote from a very young man who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me."
Mm.
And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you're one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it.
How many minors are making accusations in total, and are the feds aware of the allegations of minors in the case?
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Tony,
I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of, we're going to make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
Wow. All right. So that was the press conference of Mr. Tony Buzbee of a Houston law firm, the Buzbee Law Firm. He tells us today that he has over 100 victims. I believe he said 120 victims so far have joined this class action suit, several of which were minors at the time of the trauma, and one of which was 9 years old. Now, someone in the chat, and I can't even remember who it was now. Let me see if I can find it. But you have a great question. And I was thinking this too. They said, how are they going to be able to prove this? Oh, here we go. Hi, Minx, the cutie. I just wonder how they're going to prove it outside of testimony. The defense may victim blame without concrete proof. What the truth is, they're going to victim blame. We definitely know that they are going to victim blame and try to discredit these folks. I too wonder what proof they have now. Several of these individuals that he's representing have stated that they initially did go to the authorities to report their attacks. Yet, those police reports went nowhere. Again, proof that Diddy's hand, his reach, is far and wide. when people say he had law enforcement in his pocket, sounds like he did. He made things happen. He made things go away. He made people possibly, allegedly go away. This shit is deep. Now, I was told yesterday that he was going to name names, and I thought today, I know he said he wasn't going to name. I thought, and honestly, the volume is kind of low, so I'm not really sure if it's just me that couldn't hear everything. But I thought he was saying we're not going to say all of these names, because he said that there are other celebrities, other folks who were involved. And I'm sure that there is a reason why they're not releasing these names just yet. But it is the silence for me from Hollywood, from the music industry, from celebrities that have had deep connections with Diddy, the silence from them is deafening. Like, y'all ain't saying nothing. You're not saying, no, this is a misrepresentation of our friend Diddy. I think they're not saying anything because they too have participated. The things that he said transpired at these parties with 9-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, being drugged and being forced to perform certain acts. This ish is disgusting. This is disgusting. Yeah, no, Sandra Zion, they ain't tell us nothing. But I do believe that they have to be careful about how they release that information, because my guess is there's probably very powerful people included, and it's not just Hollywood, and it's not just the music industry. Sounds like it could be politicians and clergy. Jesus. What you say, Minx? Jay-Z is next with the Rock Nation brunch. You think they was doing things at the brunch? The after party of the brunch? Jesus. Look, I need names. I really, really, really need names. I agree, Pen Pal. It is bigger than Diddy. In fact, in order for Diddy to have been able to continue this pattern of behavior for decades, says that there must be bigger people in play to keep him safe. Like, that's the only way it could be possible. This initiation stuff that we've discussed or heard about in the last couple of weeks in particular, the satanic worshiping, the rituals, I mean, it sounds like they are into dark magic. They ain't trying to do they ain't trying to manifest good things in everyone's life. They're not using this is too much, y'all. Hold on. Hey, lovely one, what you say? Cali and Florida didn't even try to charge him, only New York. Do you think they'll make a move now? I think right now, because the feds and the first of all, because the feds have the case, and second of all, because of the reputation of the Southern District, is it Southern District of New York? That particular branch of the FBI is supposed to be phenomenal. Like, I think they have over a 95% conviction rate. So I think that as long as they have the case, other states won't need to even dive into it, because this man, just based upon the case he has right now, he's looking at over 120 or 150 years, I think it was said. So there would be no reason to utilize tax dollars to prosecute him, because it sounds like the feds have it under lock. Hey, Prima Wanda, what you saying? Villanora, are you hearing anything about TD Jackson? Or was he there innocently at a dinner party? Look, okay. Let me just say this. This is, and I'm just being honest. There are some people I don't want to know. I don't want to not that I don't want to know it, because if it's happening, I do want to know it. But I hope certain people aren't involved. I gave, and I still do, give TD Jakes the benefit of the doubt. Yes, he had associations with Diddy. Yes, he did attend, I believe, a white party. I don't particularly feel that because he participated in a white party or attended a white party, that means he was doing things at the after party. And I think that can be true for several people, because it sounds like these types of activities happen at the after parties, right? So I still do give TD Jakes the benefit of the doubt. However, I have a friend who is from Dallas who believes that he could have been involved. I don't want to believe it, but this person feels like there are other things they've heard over the years and they just would not be surprised. I will be not only surprised, I will be devastated. I mean, not because I do hold clergy to a higher standard, okay? And so does the Bible. So does God. However, I just don't believe, I hope not, because I hope not. I just hope not. But my friend really thinks so. And she was, very connected in the church arena, I guess is what I would say, in Dallas. She's no longer there, but that's what she said. Lovely one. Y'all gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna tell you, I guess the reason too, look, I am not one that believes that just because someone is a minister of any sort that they're perfect. None of us are perfect. I do think people make mistakes. I do think people make bad choices. I do think that people are battling their own demons within. Look, and I am not one to pass judgment. I have told y'all my story. I know that sometimes when people find themselves in vulnerable situations or desperate situations, they do things. Now, that's not the case. I'm not trying to align that with TD Jakes so much, but I do think that could be the case for some of these other individuals who participated in this activity. But whereas the clergy is concerned, let me say this. There are certain people that I know that obviously, okay, I'm going to give you an example. Jamal Harrison Bryant, a lot of people don't like him. I get it. I understand. He loves women. I get it. But when I tell you that I know that man is anointed, he is anointed and he's very smart, and he has an anointing on his life. Now, does that mean that he doesn't fight demons? Of course. I think we all have our own demons that we fight. But he has blessed my soul with some of the messages. Same with TD Jakes. I don't want to believe that he would do some crazy shit like that. Look, my thing is this, like certain things, like as long as he's not breaking the law, some things I feel ain't my business. So like if he was cheating on his wife, I'm not going to like that. I'm not going to condone that. I'm not going to uplift that, but it's not my job necessarily to forgive it. That's between God, him, and his wife, right? So I don't get caught up on stuff like that. But and look, let me tell you this, Texas Toy. I ain't gonna lie. That man not only has an anointing, and we're back to Jamal Harrison Bryant. I think I mentioned to y'all that I've met him a couple of times. And we've had, and what I'm about to say, okay, what I'm about to say, people run with it, but we had dinner together, but not just me and him. Okay, it was like I want to say 8 of us went to dinner when I first met him. The first day I met him, we all went to dinner. We actually sat next to each other, so I had a chance to have some conversation with him. And this is what I will also say, because at the point when I met him, that day we had dinner, because let me give you the scenario. So he had come to my church for a youth revival. We would have a youth revival every summer, and it was 3 days long. So he was invited to be the minister, for that week. So because I was involved in the coordination of things, myself and, like I said, 7 or 8 other people, we all went to dinner. We had dinner brought in. Okay. And it was real intimate setting. We got a chance to talk to him, get to know him and everything. That was my first time ever meeting that man, ever. His message was phenomenal. Okay. He definitely is gifted, but I'm gonna tell you something else. I left there with a little crushy crush. Okay. I had a crush on him. Okay. I did, honey. Y'all may not think he is I don't care what y'all think. I'm telling you, there's an aura that comes off of that man. It's real. There is something. He has something. I don't know what that is, but I understand how women can fall into his charm. Okay. He didn't flirt with me, yet there was a vibe from him, y'all. I ain't trying to be funny. I am not trying to be funny. So I can, so in my mind, because I'm, like I said, we spent that week with him. Then the following year, he came back. And have you ever been swallowed? Child, I almost got swallowed up into that shit. Okay, because I was like, damn, there's something about that man. I ain't trying to be funny. So I know that there's something, and I get it. He is very, very charismatic. He is. But like I said, he did not flirt with me. So I'm not trying to put something out there like he was, trying to holler, because that's not what I got from him per se. Wish I did, but I didn't. I didn't get that. No, I don't wish I did now, but I think in the moment I wish that I did. Okay. Then the next year when he came back, I sat in the same place that I did the first year when he came, but I didn't like, after the revival, I didn't go and see him. So like every day we would, for the youth thing, they would have the revival. And then after the service, you would go to the fellowship hall and they would like have like some refreshments, and he would be there, to kind of, mingle with the, the youth, the congregation, whoever was there. So, so that first year I saw him every day. We had gone to dinner the night before, and then every day I saw him, right? And it was like, hey, we cool. So a year later, he comes back, and I sat in the same place that I sat before. I didn't go to the after thing on Monday and Tuesday, but on Wednesday, on the final day, I did go to the fellowship hall. And when I was in the fellowship hall, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to other people. And he walks up to me and he says, "Excuse me, excuse you, where you, I saw you sitting I saw you sitting in your spot. How come I'm just now seeing you, because it was the last day." I said, "Well, look, I know everybody was bombarding you. I know you was probably tired anyway. So we had that kind of exchange. And actually, the week prior, he got married to Giselle. So that second year I met him, the week prior or maybe 2 weeks prior to the revival, he had just gotten married. So I definitely I had no desire to go to the fellowship hall on Monday and Tuesday. I just happened to go in there Wednesday and wasn't necessarily going to go and say nothing to him, because in my mind, I'm like, he probably doesn't remember me. That's kind of what I was thinking. But no, he did. And so I congratulated him on his marriage and everything. And then, just went on about my business. Never saw him again, never talked to him again ever. But I'm telling you, he looks sexy. I'm sorry. He's a little sexy to me. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what the hell y'all say. And then after he married, so then I was following him, on social media. I was watching his services every Sunday. Okay. I watched him and I saw all that shit transpire with him and Giselle and the cheating and all of that. And I was like, girl, that's what God be protecting me, child. Okay. Cause when I tell you I had a little crushy crush, I did. And if he had tried to holler, I would have responded. Okay. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not saying I would have jumped in bed with him, because that's not who I am. I don't do that. But I definitely would have entertained it, because he looks sexy to me. I ain't trying to be funny. And he's anointed. I was just like, this is wrapped up into the perfect package in my head. But the Lord knew he'd be protecting me from myself. Jesus. So wait, what'd you say, Chick-fil-A gal? His forehead had a permanent sunburn. Damn. What, is it black? I ain't never noticed that. What? Not you willing to risk it all for tithe? Not tithe money. Girl. Mm-mm. Right. I could have been Vila Bryant. Okay. I could have been V Bryant. First lady. I'm glad that didn't happen. Jesus. That's right, El Diva. King David was a hoe blessed by God, and he was a murderer. And he was God's favorite. He was a man after God's own heart. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And let me say this, because I don't know why this is on my mind to say. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. If I told y'all what I'm in there cooking, they done. I had to make sure they weren't burnt. I need to make myself some cornbread. Y'all know what I'm about to eat? Okay. This proves that I am a black ass woman raised by two Southern black ass people. Okay. Child, I love me some lima beans. Yes, I do. I damn sure do. I love me some lima beans. No, Sanders are in. You know what? Like I said, I'll eat something so much and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like I don't need no fish no more for a minute. Okay. I ate so much damn fish. But no, today I just made myself some lima beans and I'm about to go make me some cornbread. And that's all I need. I don't need no meat. I would love some fried chicken, but I'm gonna stay away from the fried food for a minute because I ate enough fried fish. But baby, I love me some lima. You too, Jackson Tabasco? Ooh. I love me some. I love all kinds of beans. I'm gonna tell you my favorite though. Okay. Oh, wait. What'd you say? Chick-fil-A gal? I knew it. I was saying navy beans. I like navy beans. I love my favorite though, and I know this isn't a bean, but to me it's in the bean family, is some black eyed peas. Baby. I love me some black eyed peas. I also love me some pinto beans. I love me some lima and some butter beans. I like me some navy beans. I like me some Crowder peas. Baby. So this is what I did with the lima beans. You know, I just got the frozen lima beans, right? And then don't judge me. Don't judge. But I went and I fried up some bacon. Okay, about 4 slices of bacon. That's all I needed. Then I would take some of the bacon grease and crumble up that bacon into the lima beans. I put a little bit of smoked paprika, a pepper, garlic, and onion powder. And then I put a little chicken broth in there, no salt. And no, I didn't put I fried up that bacon. I fried up the thick sliced bacon. You know what I'm saying? The real thick country bacon. So 4 slices of that. Yes. Yes, I got some frozen lima beans. You still got to cook. Girl, you don't just get them and put them in some water, honey. And I let them I like them when they're soft. Like I don't want them like burnt or anything, but I like them when they're real, I let them simmer for a good amount of time. So like they've been in there for about probably 45 minutes or so. How long we been on here? Oh shit, they've been in there an hour. Okay, just on low. Baby. Now I'm about to go make me some cornbread. Be trying to go to war with all them beans. Yes. Okay. So it's not necessarily the healthiest, Missy, but it's good. It's good. Okay. And that's that on that. All right. That's why I'm gonna have today. Um Child, no, his new woman is gonna look. They look real in love. I want to know how they hid their relationship for so long in front of the church. You know what I mean? Like she was a co-pastor of the church already, and they done fell in love, child. And supposedly they've been kicking it for a minute. Supposedly they were kicking it when Giselle was over there fronting like that was her man. Just recently. That's the rumor. I don't know. Child, I don't know. What'd you say, Prima Wanda? Purple Hull Peas. Ooh, are better than black eyed peas. Oh, wait a minute. Purple. I think I've okay, maybe I thought they were black eyed. Don't they kind of look like black eyed peas though? I think I know what you're talking about. Because I told you my dad's from Georgia, my mom's from Alabama, and like I said, I spent most of my time in Georgia on breaks and stuff. And my family lived on acres and acres and acres of land, and they had peas and corn and greens and everything, right? And I loved them damn black eyed peas. They was out there. Oh, and Crowder peas. They would do they kind of look like Crowder peas? Oh, wait. Who had said that? Prima Wanda. What do they kind of look like? Wait, I haven't had Crowder peas in years. Yeah. Purple Hull peas are good. I gotta see them. I bet I've had them. Okay, back to Jamal. Just Natalie said the church knew she's been passed. Oh, what you mean, just Natalie? Like she was at other churches with other pastors, or you mean within that particular church? Girl, what? Say it ain't so. Uh-huh. Yeah, field peas. Okay. Field peas. I've had field peas. They do not have a purple blush on them. Okay. Huh. Okay. But yeah, no, back to these folks. Okay, let's have another quick discussion and then I got to get off here in about 10 minutes. Last night, shout out to Nyla. I meant to reach out to her to tell her she did an excellent job last night. She really did. I know that it might impression is that she believes the book and she believes that it's legitimate. But what I will say is she was very balanced in the way in which she interviewed him, because she still did ask him the tough questions that we all wanted to know anyway. And let me tell you something, and I think we're going to have to do a little reaction video a little later. By the way, oh, you know what? Tonight, 8 o'clock, don't forget, Native and I will be here to do our normal Nesto readings. Okay. That is going to happen. But I still feel like we need to do a little watch party prior to that, because not a watch party, but a reaction video, because Chris, what's his name? Shit. I'm old, y'all. This menopause. Chris, whatever, him, the author, he did another interview, and there were things he said in that interview that I really want us to hit on. And one of the things in particular, when we ask whether or not the kids are getting proceeds from the book, the reason is this. Chris Todd, thank you, Chick-fil-A gal. I know that man's name. I'm just crazy today. Shut up, 504. Shut up. But the reason why we ask that is because legally, if those are actually Kim's words, and he is presenting them as Kim's words, the person who had the junk drive in the first place had no legal right to turn it over to anyone. And the person they turned it over to, allegedly, Chris Todd, has no legal right to publish it. And he says out of his own mouth that he didn't write it. He believes it's Kim's words, but he didn't write it. All he did was edit it and fix some grammatical errors. If that is the case, why should you benefit financially for putting it out? There's no other reason for you to do that other than for a money grab. And guess what he said in this other interview? That in 12 days, that book earned him $1 million in 12 days. And you don't think that the estate, if that shit is real, if it is real, why does he get $1 million for something he didn't write? Why in the hell should he get more than 20% of the proceeds just as an administrative fee? He didn't do anything. He didn't write it. He didn't even want to put his name on the book. All of that shit is shady as hell to me. Okay? And then talking about he got other portions that he's going to release. That book alone was $24. So that was 60 pages for $24. And then you talking about you got other parts to release. If that ain't a money grab, I don't know what is. Why'd you hold them back? Or are you still writing them? I don't believe this damn book. The stories in that book, people know. Just because you haven't heard every story doesn't mean other people don't know. If Kadada, or if Kimora, or if Gene Deal or Wolf or whoever it is knew that Diddy had done that shit, don't you think other people know it? Other people in the family and friend group, they knew about him pissing in that bottle. So the bottom line is, I refuse to entertain him because I don't believe him. And he's on the defensive because he has to be. He has to be on the defensive because he was wrong. He said 100,000. He said $1 million. I'm gonna show y'all. I will show y'all the interview. That's why we gotta watch it. He said in 12 days the book earned $1 million. So so there you have it. He said this interview was done, I want to say a few days, maybe 2-3 days ago. Oh no, a week ago, 5 days ago, something like that. So 5 days ago it earned $1 million, but on Nihilus it earned a 100,000. Why are you changing numbers? He's a liar. I don't believe it. And then how do you explain all these other books coming out? He's a liar. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Why wouldn't you just put your name, Chris Todd, on there? Why does Tupac get such a huge nod, since this was a nod and a shout out to Tupac? Why does he get a big nod and a shout out on a Kim Porter book? He didn't even play a huge part in Kim's life. Why does he get a nod? It makes no sense, y'all. None of this shit makes sense. And when I tell you, I am very intuitive. I really am. And when I tell you every fiber in my being, down into my gut, to my soul, I know that man is a liar. Or the shit he got is a lie. If someone gave it to him, they are messy and they're a liar, and he's a liar, or they all lying, and everybody's getting paid. This is ridiculous. And why should you get paid for something you didn't write? I ain't doing it. What you say, 504? Jamal wants to bring Tupac back to get his booty. Jamal don't want no man's booty. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a ladies' man right there. I'm here to tell you. I get no gay vibes, none whatsoever from him. But yeah. So that's what I have to say about it. But we're gonna watch it together. We also have another reaction video I need to do, because Mr. Jerron, what's his name, child? Hurt. He was over there. He done lost all privileges. He admitted yesterday, or whatever day it was, he did his little I call it a press conference. He came out here talking about he has not even seen the kids in weeks. But that's not what he said when he was with us. He told us he was going weekly and the kids are hurting and this, that, and the other. He's still over there talking about the kids. And so we're going to have to listen to that shit. But he admitted that he ain't seen them forever, and he has lost all parental rights. He can't see them at all. Someone told me that was going to happen, and it did. It did. So we're going to talk about that. 504, you talking about Mr. Hurt? Yeah, a mess. So anywho, I got to go, y'all. But I'm be back. I'm going to be back, damn it. All right. Thank you, Shay B. That intuition is okay. And people don't understand it unless you are one, I think. But I can feel it in my bones, every fiber of my being. It's some bullshit. Okay. So anywho. All right now. Hey, Chick-fil-A gal. Okay, no, I have a delivery coming in. So they got to bring it up here by 3:30. So I need to move some stuff out the way so they can come. And then I'll be back. All right. And then I'll see you again tonight. If I don't come back, you'll definitely see me tonight with Native. All right, y'all. Smooches.